Hello and welcome to this episode of Jacked Up Me and Frank. I'm your host, Jackie Planowitz, here with my co-host, Frank Arenio. And today, we're going to break down the NBA playoffs. They are finally here. It is April. It's springtime. The weather's good, which means baseball, but it also means basketball. And in New York, it's crazy this time of year. When they're good, of course. But they're good now, and they're facing against the Atlanta Hawks. Will again for the first time since 2021. I don't know how to say that better, but since 2021, when Trae Young bowed the Knicks out in 5 games, um, in 21. But it's a whole new team from Atlanta as well. And then we'll get into some Cavs, Raptors. They face off in the East 4-5, and then I have some notes on the Nuggets, Timberwolves. Then we'll probably get to Spurs, Trailblazers as well. A little bit of that because I think the Spurs are usually going to win that. But you want to get into the Knicks versus Atlanta?
Let's do it.
Let's start.
Finally here, the playoffs. We've been talking about it for a long time, and here it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, and going into this, the Knicks thought they were gonna get Toronto, as I said in my episode. Knicks thought they were gonna get Toronto, but they ended up getting Atlanta. They ended up getting a team that's on a run, that's hot. I feel like always the Knicks get the hottest team in the playoffs in the first round. I mean, you could say that's a good thing, but at the end of the day, sometimes it could be a bad thing. But Knicks faced one of the hottest teams late in the season. The Atlanta Hawks, ever since they trade Trae Young, you could say what you want to say, but we're just going to take the facts for what the facts are. They've been a better team without Trae Young. They're different, of course. I don't think. I mean, you can't argue. You can argue they're better or not. But you can't argue they're different. They're different in the ways they have more ball movement and less isolation, which is the reason why I feel like the Knicks could lose. And the Knicks have players to guard isolation defenders. I feel like if the Knicks were to play against a team that's very isolation heavy, yes, I mean you could have a great player there, and that really screws up New York. But New York has they have OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges is fine, Josh Hart's fine. Like they have guys who can contain the dribble. Now what the Atlanta Hawks do is they run in transition, they move the ball, and that's I'm not going to compare them to Indiana, but that's how they lost to Indiana. They don't lose. Knicks don't lose to teams that just pound the basketball unless they're really freaking good. Knicks won't lose to teams that pound the basketball. They'll lose to teams that play fast. Atlanta's top 5 in pace. I don't know if that's since the All-Star break. I don't know if it is or top 5 in pace all season long. Yeah, they want to speed up New York. They're gonna try to speed up in New York like Indiana did. I mean, I know it's hard for me to not compare them because though that's the recipe to beat the Knicks. What Indiana did is the recipe to beat this Knicks team. Yes, different coaching, but it's still the same problem of the Knicks are a slow basketball team. You didn't change the players. You obviously changed the coach, but the Knicks are still a slow team. Like, yes, they might have a little bit more movement off the ball, but it still doesn't mean that they're not a slow basketball team. And if you play fast, you're going to play in a comfort zone. Um, the Atlanta Hawks have balanced scoring. That is one thing. I mean, Jalen Johnson's obviously their main star, but they got balanced scoring. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he had a lead scoring versus New York this year, and a lead scoring in general, 20 points per game. Guy's the most improved candidate. And then they have CJ McCollum. Man, I think we all know who CJ McCollum is. A veteran stabilizer nowadays. He used to be a very high level scorer. He still probably is kind of. He's not as good at as anymore. He's like 34 years old, so his scoring has really dropped off. But he's a stabilizer. I think the Hawks need that, and we'll get into their concerns. I think that will kind of convert with their concerns because he's a guy with high experience in the playoffs.
So, Jack, from what you're saying, I have two questions. First one
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
would you have rather played the Raptors and the Hawks? It sounds like you're saying that. And then my second question is, are you a bit nervous about this series for the Knicks?
I don't know if nervous is the correct word. I think I'm.
Concerned? Is there a level of concern, like scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being like basically not concerned and 10 being extremely concerned? Where are you at?
I, I don't know if this is recency bias, but I'm more concerned about this matchup than I am about Detroit. But because Detroit, they grinded you out, and obviously not Detroit this season, Detroit last season. Detroit grind you out,
Oh,
which
I got what you're saying. I was going to say,
yeah,
I was confused by that. Now
yeah,
I understand. So,
yeah,
okay, you're more concerned
yeah,
about
yeah.
this
It
first round
reminds me of
matchup
like
than last
Detroit,
year.
where this is a surprising team, hot team that is going to play the Knicks tough. But I think they played them tough in a different way. They moved the ball. They were, I guess, the Pistons were also going to move the ball in transition, but the Hawks do it more in their top 5 and threes, and Pistons will just grind you out. Which I feel like the Knicks can figure out a way to be tough. I mean, they're all professionals. Just be tough against the Pistons. I mean, yes, the Pistons are a good team then, but you had to be tough, and the Knicks figured out a way. Now the Knicks could be tough here, but I think
And that series went 6 games last year. The Knicks were up 3-1,
yeah,
but it went 6.
yeah,
And I think game 6 was close, so like there could have been a game 7.
this is like they remind
But
me.
like, do you think the Knicks are a better team now than they were to start last year's playoffs?
Yeah, and I think I feel better about them. I feel like they're deeper. I feel like um I don't know how to word it about the head coach, but I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna because I was gonna word it like I feel like the head coach is ready, but Tom Thibodeau was ready, of course. But I feel like this team understands their head coach is under like I don't know. I feel way. I think I feel way more. I feel like this team is a star level team. Like last year, I mean, you didn't really know. They had to get punched in the mouth by Detroit. I don't feel like this team needs to get punched in the mouth. I mean, you always need to. You always want to. I mean, and bounce back, of course. You don't want to get punched in the mouth and lose, but bounce back. You always want, like, that's always prefer. I don't think the Knicks need this. Like, I don't think the Knicks need a first round matchup where they need to get tested. I think they needed that last year. Like, and think about it. I know it's a new coaching, but like similar players. I mean, the Knicks are deeper, but and have like kind of a different bench, but the core is still there. And I feel like the core got punched in the mouth by Detroit. They don't need to get punched in the mouth like again. I don't I think the Knicks didn't need a crazy matchup where they in the first round, which I don't. And I think this team is going to pose different problems than Pistons did last year, and more problems that I think are conducive to beating the Knicks, which is faster pace. I think the Knicks could like. I think the Knicks were able to beat the Detroit Pistons because they got dirty with them, and I think they always had that in them. So I just think they just were a little bit soft in the regular season, for lack of better words. And Detroit kind of punched them in the. But here it's gonna be a little different. Like the Hawks are just good, and they're just a 3-point heavy team, and the Knicks have shown struggles. And I bring this back to when the Knicks played Boston, and you had Baylor Shireman come off the bench and have 20 points. I know that's like, players like that come off the bench and have like big time shooting games against the Knicks. Yes, it's because you're in the most famous arena and you want to show up, but also it's because the defense you're playing against has cracks. They're not perfect, and I'm not saying this defense is bad at any means. I think this defense is really solid and it's winnable with, but I'm just saying they have cracks in it, and it comes with the 3-point line. And the Hawks do exactly what the Knicks don't do defensively at points. Now, it's not like they always don't contest the three, but at points.
Yeah.
So,
Another question I have is like,
and
do you feel confident that the Knicks could play the defense that is necessary to go to the NBA Finals? Like, they have to get to the finals.
yeah,
Based on how far they got last year, what the expectations were and still are, were going into the season, what they are now, it's get to the finals or bust, which is going to be difficult. Like, I mean, they have strong competition in the East, at least with a couple teams. But I mean, how confident you that they could play good enough defense to get to the finals or just, even get back to the point that they got to last year?
I, I'm confident because I feel like this team is similar to last year where they can buckle it down offensively in the playoffs. They did. I mean, it's similar players. The scheme was different. Tom Thibodeau is definitely a better defensive head coach, but you got the same players you bring in. You got this, like, I just feel like their defense is good enough to get past the teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, is it good enough to beat Thunder or another team like that? That's a different conversation. But I think the Eastern Conference, you can get away with. I mean, you can't get away with a lot, but you can have good enough defense to get through because the Knicks have that talent. Now, I'm gonna probably can I go on the concerns of Atlanta
Yeah.
because I think we talked a lot about Atlanta and how good they are because they're obviously a good team. Um, but they have no size, and I think that's their center is 6'8", and it's Onyeka Okongwu who can stretch the floor, but he is a player that plays big. I mean, he obviously plays bigger than he is, but he has rebounding problems or weak rebounding. They don't get to the line as often, so if you get Jalen Brunson, like the comparison between the Knicks and the Hawks of the line is going to be something, and especially with play like Jalen Brunson getting a line a lot, and the Hawks don't have a player that can get a line as as much as that. I don't think that's a really deal breaker, but man, I mean, if you're playing against Brunson who gets the line like X amount of times, then Cat's definitely gonna put some pressure on the rim. I hope that OG's probably gonna put like one or two times put pressure on the rim. Like the free throw rate's a problem here. And I think that also comes with um, the late season run came versus weaker teams. Is it real? And I think that's a question here. I haven't really actually looked at their the teams they have beat, but I think their team is solid. I don't think like I think they deserve to be here. They're 6 seed. They they're a good basketball team. I don't think that's a weaker. My biggest thing here is the young core, not much playoff experience. I think it could turn into a Cleveland Cavaliers situation where they just get shocked out of the floor. Like where like Jared Allen for like going back a few years ago, Jared Allen just freaked out by the New York noise and Mascor guard and everything. Freaked out at Mobley, little freak. Darius Garland has like one terrible game. Like that's a hard place to play if you have no experience. Yes, you could say on the other end that like people love to play Mascor Garden. You could just be like, oh, I love this place, but it's hard, man. It's hard to be young and walk into Mascor Garden. I do think that can be poked at a little bit because they have players individually that have played deep in the playoffs, but their main guy, Jalen Johnson, hasn't played in the playoffs. And that could be an issue going into Mascor Garden. And anywhere, obviously. I just think Mascor Garden just more of an emphasis to that.
Yeah, I think the Garden's definitely a factor. It could go both ways, though. I mean, there's guys who really embrace it and play well as an opponent at the Garden, right? As a member of the road
Yeah.
team, But it's a difficult place to play. I mean, especially when the Knicks are playing well and the crowd's going crazy. I mean, it's a very difficult place for an away team to play. So it's an advantage for the Knicks to play at the Garden. And I think the Knicks have a much bigger home court advantage than the Hawks. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty obvious statement.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. And I think, I mean, it goes with the crowd, but it also goes with the players on the team. Like, I don't know about, like how Jalen Johnson will deal with it. How, like, Nikhil Alexander Walker's played in the playoffs with Timberwolves to the conference finals, but man, he's a second option here. Like he's a big. Like you have the expectation if you score 20 points per game this season, like that. That's a different. That's a different thing. Like than just being like, oh, you're a 3-and-D guy on like that. I respect the hell out of that, but it's different between now you're a guy that we trust, especially if you're the experienced guy. Like, and CJ McCollum's also a guy that's experienced, but yeah, I mean, I think that, and Onyeko Kongu was also on the team that beat New York. I think yes, they didn't really do a lot, I don't think, but you know, the team is it could go two ways. They could either embrace it or they could fall to it. And I think that's the biggest thing because they are young. And sometimes it's better because they just forget about everything and they just shoot as much time as possible and then they score against Knicks and they go crazy. I mean, it's just it go either way here.
So then, what do you think the result of the series is going to be? Like, before you say, like, I kind of feel like there's only so much we could break down a first round matchup because to me, it's about so much more for the Knicks. I know you're going to take it one game at a time, one round at a time. That's what the team has to do. But us evaluating it, it's like the Knicks have to win in the first round. If they don't win this series, I mean, it's just a total disaster. Like,
Yeah.
They're going to win the series, right? I think we need to.
I don't see a situation where the Knicks lose.
Go beyond this and talk about bigger things with the Knicks. Like,
let's
talk about them versus the Celtics. Are they going to buy them again? Them versus the Pistons. So what's your prediction for the series?
So after all of that, I think that the Atlanta Hawks have a one game where they play really well, but I think that the Hawks rely on the 3-point shot too much, and I think it really, takes them out of their game. I think their offense gets stymied. I think that the Knicks win in 5. Like that's my prediction. After all, saying all that is kind of insane, but I think that the cons outweigh because of the size, the rebounding. That is a big part. Man, the Knicks could miss one shot. Brunson could miss a shot. Then you got the rebound. And then Mitchell Robinson's got the board, or Cat's got the board. Then you throw it at OG Anunoby. Like that's hard to play against. Even if let's say Jalen Brunson misses a shot, he gets to shoot again. Like that little stuff is hard, like is gonna wear on a team like Atlanta. And the free throws, like I think they lose in a little part of the game, even though they lose because they're smaller and the Knicks are talented. And if a game gets tight, I think one game or 2 games will get tight. I think no one really bring this up yet, but they got the closer here. And I think it was an obvious thing. I don't think it was a thing that we needed to bring up, but if the game gets close, you might as well book it for the. I mean, you can't really say that, but you know what? Like you can kind of book it for New York.
Yeah, I'll say
more questions like teams like this team is if they keep it close, and I don't think they should think about keeping it close, but in a road game, if they keep it close, they're going to get one.
I'll say Knicks in 6. They played a competitive regular season series, and I've said it a lot of times we talk NBA. I don't think the regular season games mean much, but I'm not going to say they mean nothing. So just trying to take some information from that. And the Knicks beat the Hawks by 3 twice. Hawks beat the Knicks by 12. So they had a very competitive regular season series. Like you said, the Hawks are
when they play
progressing as the season goes on. I'll say Knicks in 6. I think the Knicks are going to win. Again, Knicks lose this series to be a total disaster, but that's not going to happen. I'll go Knicks in 6. I don't view the Knicks as a juggernaut by any means. They're not great. They had lapses during the regular season. They had other times in the regular season they're playing great. They could be really impressive or they could be underwhelming. So just factor in that the team the Knicks were all regular season. I'll apply that to this series and say they'll win in 6.
My thing
If I had
about
to lean towards 5 or 7, I would definitely go towards 5, but I'll go with 6.
like New York against Atlanta was Atlanta's going to have to beat them and you have to pull away or either blow them out. And it's like, can they do that? No, I don't think so. Maybe once they could pull away in Atlanta, but or maybe once I don't really think it matters. Once in like New York or Atlanta, but I don't know, man. They're gonna have to beat games are gonna get close and like they're 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 gonna be close, and I trust New York over Atlanta. I think that's and I trust that Atlanta will be weared out by the rebounding of New York. And also big X factor here is Karl-Anthony Towns needs to play well. Like he needs to dominate.
So then, do you want to break down the other series and before that the play-in tournament? You want to like briefly just tell us what you think is going to happen in the remainder of the play-in tournament, and then break down the first round matchups, go through each of them, and then come back to the Knicks and look long term in the playoffs. So going forward with a matchup probably with the Celtics in the second round, and then a matchup potentially with the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then even if you want to look into the NBA Finals and the potential there to probably play the Thunder, the Spurs, I guess maybe the Nuggets if you want to throw them in there. So just you want to go in that direction. So you take the play-in tournament and then the first round playoff matches.
Yeah, I'll take the play-in tournament now. Tonight's one where Orlando, man, what did Orlando? They really struggled in the last 2 games of the season. Where they had, I know it sounds as a short sample size, but they shut down, man. They shut down where they could have got a home game in the whatever. They could have got a home game in the play. Now they have a away game, but they really don't look like a basketball team. I don't think it's going to make the playoffs here. I don't think they win a game out of the next two. Who would they play? Who they would play from the 10? Yeah, they'd play the Hornets. I don't think they beat Charlotte. I don't. And I don't think they beat the 76ers. And I think the 76ers and Celtics are just destiny for each other to play in the first round. And that would be, I mean, it wouldn't be fun, but it'd be, cool. Boston versus Philly.
Yeah, it's a classic matchup.
Yeah. They're destined for each other in the first round. I'd kind of be surprised if Orlando won tonight. They're really, and I heard there was something about their head coach. He's gonna get fired no matter what. That's what I heard on social media, and that a star player is said they're either fire their head coach or they're gonna leave. Like now, and they're still in the play-in. I'd be really surprised if they made the playoffs.
So you want to go forward breaking this down?
Yeah.
The next matchups?
Warriors, Clippers. I think Clippers all the way here. The Warriors are just a mess. I mean, maybe Steph Curry is a rabbit in his hat, but anyway, I don't see anything happening here. I think Los Angeles has it. Okay, so then what would be the match? We would get Hornets, Magic. Give me the Hornets, as I said. Clippers, Suns. Give me the Suns. I think the Suns beat the Clippers.
Okay, the Suns get to a matchup with the Thunder, and the Hornets
Pistons
get to a matchup with the Pistons, and like you said, 76ers versus Celtics. So you want to go forward to the first round now and give your take on each matchup?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go to East 4-5, and I have it up now. But yeah, I mean, I don't like Cleveland. I really don't. But I'm probably gonna have to go with them here. The Raptors have a good core: Ingram, Barnes, Barrett. They have pace, they have athleticism, but the Raptors rebounding problems, interior defense, and the Cavs are just bigger. Now again, Mitchell's the best player in the series, but again, I don't know how much I say about that Mitchell. I mean, I don't know if it's not his. I don't think it's always like his fault. Like it's not, but he just they never Donovan Mitchell teams just don't win. And it's one of those things where like I don't think it's his fault. Like it's not like other players were like X, Y, and Z player. They never their team never wins. Like that's not like Mitchell is a good basketball player. I just don't great basketball player. I just don't see his teams winning. But I'm gonna go with them. I think they have a size advantage, and the Cavs have more stars than the Raptors do. I think that's what it comes down to. I think this is a 6-game series, and I think Cleveland gets freaking whooped by Detroit, or
Okay.
or or we'll get to that soon. Um, you wanna
Yeah, I would say that the Pistons are gonna coast to the Eastern Conference Finals, but we could come back to that. So you said Knicks in 5. How about Celtics Magic?
Celtics Magic? Celtics,
Celtics Sixers. I'm sorry.
yeah. Celtics, man. Joel Embiid's out. I mean, it doesn't matter. He was gonna be out anyway. Um, Something was gonna bother him, so it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I give Celtics in 5 because I think that Tyrese Maxey's gonna get himself a game.
Gentlemen sweep.
Gentleman sweep. I think Tyrese Maxey has one of those games where we're like, we remember, oh, he's a very good basketball player, and I think that's about it. Um, so
And then how about in the West? Thunder.
Thunder, Suns,
Suns? Yeah.
Suns, Thunder in like 4. I think. I think the Thunder really. I mean,
Yeah,
Booker,
Lakers Rockets.
Shea.
That's Lakers Rockets an interesting one.
No, the Lakers do not have Reeves or Luca. So it's LeBron versus Houston.
LeBron have any chance?
I I don't think so. I think they win in I'm gonna say 4. I don't, and it's also because I just think Kevin Durant. They don't have a player to guard him, and it's Lakers defense is like Swiss cheese. And I think the only reason they were gonna win was if they had Luca and Reeves in there because to balance it out, they don't have anything to balance it out. I mean, the only thing you have to balance it out is 40-year-old LeBron, but even I don't think he can do a lot. And then also, I mean, the center matchup you got Şengün versus DeAndre Ayton. I'm not, that's good for Houston. But yeah, I think this is a real. ESPN makes it sound like, oh, this is the greatest series of all time, and it's not because the Lakers are in. They always got to get their
Oh, they love pumping up LeBron and the Lakers.
even like LA. They love bumping up
It's
LA.
tough to listen to.
Well, because LA is like always there. Like New York, like you can't really bump them up because like they're the 3 seed. I mean, there's nothing more you can do. But like the Lakers, they like you can hear them have a segment about like dude, they don't have their Reeves or Luca. Like that's like a lot of $1 million missing. Like and if I don't think they win 4 against the Rockets at all, and no universe without them.
Yeah, it seems like another early exit for the Lakers. I
Yeah.
mean, they went out the first round last year. I mean, what have they really done in LeBron's tenure there? I mean, he's been there 8 years. They won 1 championship, but I'm sorry, fake championship in the bubble. I don't count that. So they've really done nothing. They went to the conference finals how many times? A couple times, a few
Yeah, they haven't
times.
figured out
But
that defense. They haven't figured out a defense. They haven't like the defense has always been a problem with me and the Laker with me in analyzing the Lakers. Is just like it's hard to like because you look at all the teams they have like this defensive stopper. Not like you can have a very good defensive team. I think that could happen, but like Lakers obviously don't have a good team defensive team. They have Luca and Reeves. They don't have that defender. I mean, you look even in the East of the Knicks, they have OG Anunoby. The Pistons have like a Star Thompson. Even the Hawks have like Dyson Daniels. I know I'm going to the other side, but we can go back with Lou Dort and the Thunder. I mean, the Spurs have like they have Wembanyama, which is just a defensive guy in himself. I mean, that's just and the Nuggets have. I mean, I don't really know. Nuggets, they figure out a way with doing that. And they have Peyton Watson's a pretty good defender. They figure out a way to do it. Aaron Gordon can defend. The Lakers do not have that guy. And then Amen Thompson for the Rockets. Timberwolves have McDaniels. I mean, it's hard to see like the Lakers win without that guy, or even like I think if you don't have that guy, you need to like Luke and Reeves cannot be in your backcourt. So they have been a very hard team to analyze through the whole years of me trying to look through this new Lakers team.
So then Nuggets, Timberwolves.
This is a good one. I like this a lot. I do. I think it's one that I think we've in East Western Conference Finals rematch.
Do you give the Timberwolves a fighter's chance?
I do. I give them Nuggets in 6 here. And they win in 6.
And then you got the Spurs just running through the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
So why don't we go back to the Knicks? Like let's go further with the Knicks. So
yeah,
you're gonna beat Atlanta, barring a total disaster. So then the second round, I mean, barring a total disaster for either the Knicks or the Celtics or both, it's gonna be Knicks Celtics again in the second round. You know, how do you see that matchup? And before you go, the Celtics are the betting favorites to come out of the East. You know, it's pretty amazing what they've done this year. 156 games. You know, they didn't have Tatum for the vast majority of the season. What Jaylen Brown's done this year. You know, so where is this at? I mean, again, it's really, really likely going to happen where it's Knicks Celtics. We get to see it again in the second round. Really intriguing. I mean, that'll be absolute must watch. Not just if you're an NBA fan or you're a fan of either team, just if you're a sports fan. I mean, that series is going to be must watch and should be really good. I mean, I would think it'll be a deep series, and you know, we'll see which way it goes. So then, what do you think?
I think I give the advantage to New York because I would say the only reason I would give the advantage to New York is because of the size. I think Vucevic versus Karl-Anthony Towns. I give Towns the upper hand all the time. I think the rebounding Knicks can impose their will, and also the guard for like whoever's guarding Brunson. I just don't think anybody on this Celtics team can stick Brunson. I think this could be a big time Jalen Brunson series. And I don't think anybody on the Celtics can stick Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson's the best player in this series. No doubt about that. Jalen Brunson's ridiculous. But Jalen Brunson's ridiculous too. And they don't have a guard for that. And the Knicks match up well as they tried to do last year. I mean, they built a team that match up well against the Celtics. They match up well. And the Celtics have guys that can shoot the 3 ball really well, but they're still going to play Missoula ball, which if they hit their threes, they're gonna beat the Knicks, obviously. But I just don't think that beats.
Well, are the Celtics going to change anything from last year, or are they just going to stick with what they do?
I mean,
because if they stick to what they did last year in the playoffs, then they're going to lose, and it's just stupid. And I don't want to take credit away from the Knicks, but the Celtics were so stupid in that series. And the Knicks deserve a ton of credit. I'll even give the Knicks more credit than I will blame the Celtics. But I don't know. The Celtics were so stupid the way they played the series. I mean, they were 15 for 60 from 3 in the first game. I mean, just ridiculous throwing up that many threes. They blew a 20-point lead both those games at home. Like, again, I don't want to take away from the Knicks because they really earned it and they did a great job in that series, but maybe the Celtics won't be that stupid again. Maybe they'll just keep doing their thing. And then in that case, like, I think they'll lose. But like if they make any adjustments and change anything, I think it'd be really tough for the Knicks to beat them again. There's a revenge factor. The Celtics do have home court advantage. I know the Knicks did win games 1 and 2 in Boston last year. But again, they came back from 20 points down in both games. I just think because the Knicks beat them last year, like the Celtics have to be going into this like, all right, we're really on our guard this time. We're going to make some adjustments. And then I just think that revenge factor, these are two, you could say, evenly matched teams or close to it. Just it balancing out where the Knicks won last year, the Celtics come back and win this year. That's just my thought process with it. The Knicks could obviously win, but the Celtics are the betting favorite. I mean, they are for a reason. So, again, this will be a must-watch series. It'll be great competition, great entertainment. It's New York versus Boston, Knicks and Celtics, two historic teams. Big historic rivalry after what happened last year. It just has so much. There's so much trauma there. I think it's a tough series to pick. It really can go either way. Last year was nobody was picking the Knicks to win the series. Nobody. I mean, most people say the Knicks go 6. Most people say it'd be a 4 or 5 game series last year. Much different this year. This year, go into it, you'll have plenty of people picking Boston, plenty of people picking New York. So, at this point, I lean towards Boston, but I want to see the first round, how these teams play in the first round, what they look like in playoff competition. And then, I think we all reserve the right to change our opinions as the playoffs unfold. Like we did that in the NFL. I remember changing my mind a couple times based off of how teams played in the playoffs. So any other thoughts on that potential matchup, which again, I would think it's a 95+% chance it happens.
I think that everything that you said is right. I think that Boston wants revenge and they could get it here. I just think that this Knicks team is there to beat the Celtics. And I don't think.
And the Knicks are trying to get to the next level. They're trying to get to the NBA Finals. Obviously, win it, but the next step is win the Eastern Conference. They were 2 games away from that last year. But the Celtics are playing for just as much as the Knicks. The Celtics won the title in 2024. They breezed through those playoffs. They had the easiest path basically ever of a champion, but they won the championship. Last year they won 60+ games, I think, in the regular season. So the Celtics last year were going for back-to-back. They were going for building a dynasty, and they certainly still have those aspirations, and they could do that if they get back on track this year and win a championship. So I think the Celtics have just as much incentive on their part as the Knicks do. And then there's the revenge factor for the Celtics. So there's plenty of incentive on both sides. It's not one of these matchups where it's there's more incentive on one side than the other. And look, it's the playoffs. Everybody has major incentive, particularly the teams that could get to the finals and win a championship. I mean, you could even make the case, well, it's all even. All these teams that actually have a chance to go to the finals or win it all, they all have major incentive and aspirations. So, just call that a wash. I don't think the Knicks have more incentive than Boston. Maybe you can say the Knicks have more to prove because they haven't been to the finals. They haven't won a championship since '73. But again, the Celtics they're playing this playoffs to get back on track towards a dynasty. I think it'll be tough for them to be a dynasty. They're not the best team in the league. Oklahoma City is, and I guess San Antonio is the second best team now. But the Celtics have that opportunity, and they had a better regular season than probably anybody thought they'd have, and they got Tatum back. That wasn't a guarantee to happen. But again, it is much different going into it this year. Where last year it was Celtics were overwhelming favorites. They were minus 900 favorites on the betting line going into the series last year. That's not going to be the case this year. This year the Celtics will be a slight favorite. But again, it's a series that's going to be fascinating, must watch, and definitely could go either way.
Yeah, that could go either way. I'm excited for that one. I think Boston will be the slight favorite because they are the 2 seed, and um I don't even think they think there's a it's like +2 something. Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals, so I don't think that. I think the Celtics will be slight favorites, but I think they're going to be more favorites than I think people think. Like, not saying that they're underdogs. No, nothing. Knicks should win this series. If they don't, it's a disaster. You can't lose the second round.
Yeah, so that's
The
interesting
underdog.
though, because we were talking about how it's going to be a major disappointment if the Knicks don't get to the finals. But if they lost a 7-game series to the Celtics, like, it's a major disappointment. It's still a major disappointment, but do you call that a failure of a season? Do you call that a disaster? Like,
I call it a failure of a season, not a disaster, because a disaster would be like
I
what
guess I
happened.
got to be
I think there's
consistent
a
and
difference
call it a
between.
failure, but I think disaster would be too strong. Total disaster is the Knicks losing the first round. That's not going to happen.
Well, total
Disaster, not total disaster, but disaster would be them being non-competitive against the Celtics.
Failure would be them losing because you put this team together to beat the Boston Celtics. I didn't beat the Boston Celtics, beat the Thunder. Like, I'm not going to jump back at myself, but you know what I mean. To win the NBA Finals, you beat this team exactly to beat the Celtics and beat a team like the Celtics, and you lose, and no matter how many games you lose, and that's a failure, a disastrous.
Yeah, as we talk it through, Jack, I agree. I think if the Knicks, again, forget about the first round. If the Knicks lose in the second round to the Celtics, the season's a failure. I'm not going to say disaster unless they get crushed against the Celtics. If they go 7 games, even a highly competitive 6-game series, I'm not going to say disaster, but failure of a season. Because again, this is a matchup that it could go either way. The Celtics going to be the betting favorite. Like the Knicks, it's a really high bar. It's finals or bust for the season, and it should be. But it's not like they're going into the playoffs as the favorite in the East, at least according to the betting line and the overall consensus. If they were going in and like they're the clear favorite in the East, like the Celtics were 2 years ago, even last year, like the Celtics were the big favorite in the East last year, and they lost to the Knicks. If the Knicks were in that situation and they don't come out of the East, that would be a disaster. So it's not going to be easy for the Knicks. It's not going to be easy for the Celtics either. Like, the Knicks have this really high bar, which is appropriate, but they're going to have to really step up in order to get to the finals. They clearly can, but it's not going to be easy. And then another thing I thought of is I think it's really important for the Knicks to have a fairly easy series in the first round, because the series against the Celtics is going to be an absolute. And let's just take the Knicks. Like, if the Knicks have a tough first round series, we'll have to grind it out. Then they're going to grind out against the Celtics, and you got the Pistons waiting in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Pistons have coasted to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, that doesn't bode well for the Knicks. Like, that's going to make it even tougher to beat the Pistons. So this first round, I do think it's imperative for the Knicks to have an easy series, not to have a grind of a series.
Well, because
does that make sense?
Yeah, because the New York after that has a pretty difficult run. I mean, of course they do, but Celtics and then Detroit. Like, that's two then one. Like I can't predict this, but I don't see a team like Indiana coming out of the shadows. I mean, I don't see that. I just don't out of anybody. So I think that obviously.
Well, I think it's fair to say there's 3 teams in the East, right? There's 3 teams in the East that could get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Yeah. Boston, New York, and Detroit. So I think that the Knicks need to get past this first series pretty easily, because you still need to play Detroit. You need to play not Cleveland. You need to play Detroit. You need to play Celtics. You've flip that around. You play Celtics and you play Pistons. But like I think that they need this easier because last season was the Celtics. They came out there. They won in 6 games and they played Indiana. Indiana was like, was they a 6 seed or a 5 seed? No.
Indiana was the 5?
Yeah, and you play a 5 seed in the conference finals. Like, you're gonna play a team better than Indy. Like, you're gonna play a team better than Indy. And Indy beat you, but you're thinking you're better. So,
well, that's a great point. The conference final opponent this year is going to be better than last year's opponent.
I know that might sound crazy. Because, oh, Jack, the Knicks lost to Indiana. How can you get better if you think the Knicks are going to make the finals? Why the Knicks obviously have a better team? I think the Knicks obviously are better. Like, if they were to face.
Well, is it fair to say that the Knicks are better this year, but also, no, I take it back.
They're more versatile. They can beat a lot of different teams. They're deeper.
I was going to say they have a tougher path to the finals this year than last year, but that's not true because they had to get by the Celtics in the second round, and they were major, major underdogs. So that's not true. But I think what's true is the Knicks will have a tougher Eastern Conference final series than last year, and they lost in the ECF last year.
Well, yeah, because Indiana was the perfect way to beat New York, and I think New York this year. I mean, I don't know how much I can say about this, but I think New York this year, this team could beat a team like Indiana as fast paced. And that's why I say they'll beat Atlanta. But because they're more versatile and they have a different coach, they have a different style of play. I mean, not a different style. They all have a different style of play. They have like a different way they go about it. Like I think they're better, and I think they have a better way to go about it.
Thinking this through though, Jack, like where the Eastern Conference is going is I reserve the right to change my mind as the playoffs go. I want to see these teams play, and I'll watch a lot more than I do in the regular season. Just going to be honest, I don't watch much regular season NBA basketball because I just don't think it means much. You're a diehard. You're all into it. I used to be like that as a kid, as I've said on the show before. But, I'm going to watch much more here. I mean, the Knicks, I'll watch every game. I'll tune into the games. So again, I reserve my right to change my mind. But the way I see it right now is I think Detroit's going to go to the finals because I think Detroit has the best path. They have home court throughout. They had a really good season.
Cleveland.
Cade Cunningham's a superstar. Like, Detroit was good last year. They impressed last year. They made a huge leap this year in the regular season. They're a legitimate number 1 seed. And again, the Knicks and the Celtics are going to have a grind of a second-round series. Like, I'd be shocked if it's not. I don't think either New York or Boston are winning that series easily. Well, so I think because those teams are going to have an all-out grind, it's going to go 6 or 7. The Pistons are likely to have a nice path to the ECF. I think things are going to catch up to the Knicks or the Celtics, whoever gets through to play the Pistons in the ECF.
Well, think about it. You play the Hawks. I mean, it's not going to be a grinder of a series, but tough. Then you play the Celtics grind out of a series. Then you play the Pistons and another grind out of a series. Like I think the Cleveland.
Well, that's why I think the first round has to be
so sweet. I think Cleveland's the sweetest thing that Detroit is. I think Cleveland is amazing for Detroit.
Detroit's going to smack them. Cleveland is so fraudulent. Cleveland last year as a 1 seed, they were the biggest joke 1 seed ever. And that's the thing. In the Eastern Conference this year, there's a legitimate 1 seed. There was not a legitimate 1 seed in the conference last year. So, the Pistons are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to have an easy path there. They should be fairly rested going into that series. I just think that's a major advantage for them. And again, they do have the home court advantage that plays into it somewhat, particularly if you go to a game 7. So New York and Boston could definitely beat them, but I think New York and Boston are up against it trying to beat Detroit in the conference finals.
Yeah, I think Detroit, other than New York, of course, I think Detroit is because they get to avoid Boston, and but I think they could obviously beat Boston, but they would love to avoid them, and they avoid New York until the Eastern Conference Finals. Like getting Cleveland as like a buffer or Toronto is good for them. I think that the 1 seed from last year was frauds because last year that's why Indiana became that good of a team. I mean, Indiana beat New York. Yeah, they beat New York, but they also had to get there from someplace. They lost. They beat the 1 seed.
Well, I think it was bad fortune for the Knicks that the Pacers got to the ECF. I mean,
I mean,
because
the
the
one
Knicks
seed
would
could
have
just
beaten
hold up being the
Cleveland.
1 seed. I mean, beating the Knicks is one thing, but you beat the 1 seed like that. Yeah, I don't think anybody can beat the. I don't think anybody's coming in the path of the Pistons.
No, I'd be totally shocked.
Yeah, like I think if there was going to be um a a dark horse, it would come from the Pistons. It has to come from the Pistons side of the bracket in the East. I just don't think that's going to happen.
So then, do you want to pick the whole playoffs? Like you gave your first round winners. Do you want to pick the conference finals? Excuse me, the conference semifinals, the conference finals, and the NBA finals. Just like quickly today, we'll break those series down a ton more once they come. But do you want to do that? Just complete a bracket and then conclude with your NBA champion?
So the conference semis, I got. Let's do the West because we talked a lot about East. I got. I'm actually gonna make it an ESPN. I think that's better. But let's just give me a. So I'm gonna look right now. So we got Thunder winning, Lakers Rockets we said were winning, Nuggets, Spurs, Pistons, Cavs. So chalk basically in the first round. Um, Thunder Rockets, give me the Thunder. Nuggets Spurs. Man, that's a good series. You got experience versus young up and coming. That's a series that I think I'm gonna wait for Frank to come back because that's a good series to talk about. Pistons, Cavs, we got there, and then Knicks, Celtics. I mean, he probably the Celtics are gonna win it, but I'm gonna go with the Knicks here. Just this is my bracket. So, but yeah, Nuggets Spurs is what I'm dwelling on. That's a good matchup. Oh, no, I mean you look at the Spurs. They have been pretty dominant too with the Thunder. They have Wembanyama to cover the paint. Um, the Nuggets have Jokic, so Jokic versus Wembanyama. I mean, that's must see TV as well. The Knicks, Celtics, and Nuggets, Spurs are must see TV from both sides of the world. Like from both sides of America, that is must see TV. Nuggets, Spurs is must see TV in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fascinating matchup.
Yeah, Wembanyama versus Wembanyama versus Jokic. I
And
don't
that's
know.
an up and coming team, the Spurs, who are excellent. I mean, they've arrived, but an up and coming team versus a team that's established, that's won a championship. That's a fascinating matchup.
I'm gonna go with San Antonio. I, I think they get it done. So then we get San Antonio Thunder. You got Pistons, Celtics probably. I got Pistons, Knicks here. So Thunder Spurs is a fascinating one. That's probably going to end up being the Western Conference Finals as well. Um, that one is something, and I'm also excited to see. You got the Spurs. You got the Thunder. Is this where the Thunder are the perfect storm of the team? Are the Spurs the perfect storm that could, take advantage of you can't win back to back? That's my thing. Like the
It's tough
Thunder.
to repeat, but the Thunder are so good. They're amazing.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think an inexperienced up and coming team as good as they are is going to beat the Thunder.
I think the winner comes out of the East. I think. I think the Celtics beat the. I think the Thunder can beat the Pistons. I don't think I think the Thunder could lose the Celtics. I think the Thunder can lose to New York. But I think the Thunder are gonna. If they're gonna lose, they're gonna lose a team that's established. Not established, but like experienced. So we got Thunder, Pistons. In this universe, Thunder go back to back. Depends on who comes out of the East. The Thunder could lose. It's hard to win back to back, but it has to be the right team.
It definitely is difficult. I mean, I'll say the Thunder come out of the West. I mean, is it a stretch to say the Nuggets beat the Spurs? I mean, these teams a ton better than I do, but again, the Nuggets with Jokic and their experience and their championship team from a few years ago.
I do think that too. Could they?
I could see the experienced team beating the inexperienced team as good as the Spurs are. Like, I just take the Nuggets, but then I think they'll lose to the Thunder. I think the Thunder will get back to the finals.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Knicks, Celtics, I just think the Celtics are going to get the Knicks back this year. I try to be as objective as I can, and I know you do as well. I mean, you're really objective. I think we both are. I just think the Celtics are going to get the Knicks back this year. I think it'll be a great series. So then I have Pistons and Celtics, and I'm going to take the Pistons to get to the finals. I think because it's going to be a real grind for the Celtics against the Knicks, that the Pistons will beat the Celtics. And then Thunder, Pistons, I'll say the Thunder repeat.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility too. I think that I think the Pistons' path comes back to bite them when they see Thunder. And not saying this Pistons' path is like they play the Cleveland, who's whatever, and they play the Celtics. I mean, that's a good team to play against and a beat. But the Thunder are just in a different tier, and I don't know how much they can go out there and beat a team like the Thunder. But I think that'd be a hella Detroit would be rocking.
Oh, yes. Detroit would be going crazy. I think the first time in the finals for them since 2005, they lost to the Spurs. They went back-to-back finals. They beat the Lakers in 2004, and they lost to the Spurs in 2007 and 2005. I mean, Detroit was one game away from repeating. So it's been a long time. Then you go back with what do they call them, the old Detroit teams? I forget. With Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas, but those great teams, they had a nickname. I'm drawing a blank on it. But they won back-to-back championships in 89 and 90. So maybe this is a new era for the Pistons where they win a championship or two. Definitely possible. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but they've arrived. They're really good.
Yeah.
What was that nickname of the Pistons? Late 80s, early 90s.
Bad Boy Pistons?
The Bad Boys, right. Yep. Yeah, Bill Laimbeer was the face of that.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman. Isaiah Thomas, the great guard. Chuck Daly, the coach.
Yeah. And this is a team.
Yeah, my point is that Detroit will be rocking these playoffs, but they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be absolutely crazy, and they get to the NBA Finals, it's going to be out of this world crazy.
Yeah.
But say the same thing about the Knicks. The Knicks get the NBA Finals, the Garden's going to be nuts.
Burned down.
We both hope it happens. That would be absolutely amazing. It's time. It's long overdue. I tell you, Jack, in 99 when the Knicks made the finals, what year were you born?
2009.
Man, that's 10 years before you were born. When they made the finals in 99, if you told me that it'd be 2026 and the Knicks still hadn't been back to the finals, I was just like, that's crazy. Like, no way. Like, at that time, it's like, you took it for granted. Now, the Knicks didn't win a championship in that era. They lost Game 7 to the Rockets in 94, up 3-2 in that series. That was really tough. But with that era of Knicks basketball, you just expected them to go deep in the playoffs every year. Like 2000, they got to the ECF, lost to the Pacers. But after that year, it's like, all right, like they'll be back. The Knicks will just keep this going. So again, like if you told me in 1999 the Knicks will be going on 27 years of not making the finals, and then you told me they have a 25-year ECF drought, I'd say like absolutely no way. So it's been a long time. It's long overdue. Knicks fans deserve it. New York deserves it. So it could happen this year. Hopefully it does.
Yeah. So I think we hit as much basketball as we could.
Yeah, that was really extensive. So we're set up for the playoffs. Again, the play-in tournament continues tonight and tomorrow. First round starts Saturday. Knicks Hawks, 6 p.m. Saturday night game 1 at the Garden. Amazon Prime Video. That's great.
Did you see when there was like a close game last night, 2-point game in overtime? Did you see about that pause, that technical difficulties thing with like?
No, I was sleeping. I went to bed early last night.
I
was watching the Red Sox. They were playing poorly. They were boring me, so I was tired. I went to bed early.
I think it's like technical. They had technical. Yeah, that's hard for all the grandmas and grandpas that love the Knicks. Clicking on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the streaming. I get it. It's here. I know the positives to it, but there's just so many streaming services, and obviously there's the money aspect of it. It's just, to me, it's a nuisance. I liked it when it's simpler. But it's here to stay, and there's going to be more and more of it.
46 seconds left, 123 to 120 in overtime. The technical difficulties. So that was fun.
That's a disaster.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Amazon Prime on Friday night for everybody that's working in a bar in any place like New York, Boston, man. That's terrible. You have to get Amazon Prime.
I can't stand it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, especially for like those.
I get
bars,
it's here to
like
stay.
those...
I get the modern technology, but there's a lot of problems with it. The coverage, I think, stinks. I won't speak to the NBA coverage because I haven't seen much of it with the streaming, but the baseball coverage with the streaming, the football coverage, I think it stinks. The people they put on, the way they approach it, like it's not tailored to the real, true sports fan. It's just that's a conversation for another day. But hey, the playoffs are here. We've been waiting for it. It's time now, so we'll see what the Knicks do. We'll see what type of run they make, and it's definitely really exciting times in this area, the New York metro area, as the Knicks are back in the playoffs, and they're seeking to go to the finals for the first time in 27 years and seeking to win it all for the first time in 53 years since 1973.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next week, and hopefully the Knicks have won a few basketball games. They better. See you guys next time.